Hey, what's up guys? Jacques Berman Webster here, and today we're gonna review some epic Gorilla Man music from their first self-titled album. Let's get into the first song.
It's a sweet sensation, over the top, a one-off situation, don't want to stop.
The first song on the album is called Rehash. Now let's get into The instrumental is pretty standard, there's not much to say about it, just a standard rock instrumental. Now let's get into There's not that much substance to the lyrics, it kinda just goes, say these things, then say these things, then say the same things, then say the same things. I like the vocal harmonies in the song. And I also like when it goes into it's somebody or so, it's somebody or so. I also like when this happens. As for how the song is assembled, it starts out with a 30-second build-up instrumental. And then a verse happens, and then it goes into and then it goes, and then it repeats the verse. And then that's how the song's assembled. There's not much to talk about with this song, so I guess I'll just have to give it a rating. This song gets a 7 out of 10. It's a song that, while it's on, you're listening to it and you're like, oh, this is pretty good. But I wouldn't personally put it on any of my playlists, so yeah, that's what I have to say about the song. Next song.
My job for me, my job make no sound. Echo for me underground.
So 5/4 is a song that exists. Now let's get into The instrumental's pretty average, but I do like how there is some synths sometimes in the instrumental. Plus, it just sounds better than last one. So that's all I have to say about that. Alright, so the lyrics are kind of weird. They're kind of about seducing dads, I'm pretty sure. I mean, either that or they're about literally nothing. Cause, I mean, look at these lines here. Pretty dad seducing. So I guess the plot is he uses magic to invade a city, but then the magic, like, curses him or something. I don't quite understand what the lyrics are supposed to mean. And also, apparently, the same person who turns on Damon Alcatraz's father is the one that put the curse on him. I don't exactly know what that's supposed to mean. But, lyrics don't matter, so it actually sounds pretty good, and I really like this moment.
She made me kill myself. Come on. Come on.
One thing you'll notice as well is that on the first album, there's way less features. Like, on Demon Days, there's like 5 tracks that don't have features, I guess. On Plastic Beach, like, every song has a feature. And Humans, the features basically make the songs. But anyways, that's besides the point. The song gets an 8 out of 10. Now let's get into the next song.
Everybody's here with me. We got no camera to see.
Tomorrow comes today. Let's get into the... Finally, I can actually talk about an instrumental without it just being a shitter. It's pretty standard stuff, but there is a harmonica in it, and that makes a lot of the song. Also, at the end, the words kind of do the thing, and that's pretty cool. But besides that, there's actually not much to talk about. Also, the song starts with a 30-second build-up of instrumental, like a lot of songs do. That's why Tomorrow Comes Today gets an 8 out of 10. Now let's get into the...
Brother, sister, too. Do what you must do. Don't trust people you meet.
New Genius Brother. For the instrumental, there's some drums that have some echo. There's also this very subtle guitar playing in the background. And there's also, it seems like an electric violin as the main instrument. And also, after the chorus, it does this every time, which is pretty cool. This instrument also plays in the chorus. And overall, the instrumental sounds pretty ominous in general. I also like how the instrumental starts. It's like, ah, nut. But that's pretty much all. Now let's get into the. As far as how the song is structured, there's 2 verses. It goes verse, chorus, verse, chorus. Which would mean you would think it would only be around 3 minutes or less, but it's actually a 4-minute song. Which is probably because the verses are long and the chorus is long. As for the singing, I think it's pretty good, but he does purposely pitch his voice to be a little higher. I also like the point where it goes like, things and stuff. I also really like when the chorus comes in, it's like, I feel like rhyming world with world is a little cheap though, but I don't know why he had to blow a man. That's kinda gay. In total, this is another pretty good song from the album. This song gets an 8 out of 10. Now let's get into the next song.
I ain't happy, I'm feeling glad I got sunshine in a bag. I'm useless, but not for long, the future is coming on.
Clint Eastwood. Let's get into the. So, let's talk about the instrumental. The instrumental starts with some, drums. They're like, and then you're like, oh, wow, that's lit. And you might say, oh, well, the instrumental's pretty simple. It just goes like, dun, 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 with just the same drums. But then you'd actually be wrong. But then every now and again, it plays the drums from the beginning.
That's you with one go. The essence.
And then it goes like dong with a different set of drums. But then it comes in with the violins.
Picture you getting down in a picture too, like you lit the fuse. You think it's fictional, mystical, maybe spiritual hero who appears in you to clear your view when you're too crazy.
And then you're like, oh yes. But then it comes in with a fucking harmonica and it's like da 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 da. But then out of nowhere it comes in with the electric piano.
The essence, the basics, without it you make it. Allow me to make this childlike in nature. Rhythm, you have it or you don't, that's a fallacy, I'm in them. Every sprouting tree, every
Then it comes in with the other violins. Oh, so sorry about that. Anyways, let's get into the. So it starts out with him going like, oh, ho, 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 referring to the fact that he is actually an owl secretly. You see, Damon Albarn is actually Damon Owl, as I like to call him. Anyways, so let's get into the rest of the lyrics. This is definitely one of the most catchy choruses they've ever made. Once you hear it, you're like, ah. That's all I have to say. Bye. You see, he has lines proclaiming, I ain't happy, I'm feeling glad, I've got sunshine, in a bag. I'm useless, but not for long, the future is coming on. Now, you see, I have a personal theory about those lyrics. You see, he says, I have sunshine in a bag, which means, in my opinion, that he actually has cocaine in a bag. You see, he says, I'm useless but not for long, but that's actually the cocaine in the bag having a line. You see, he's, the crack is, saying, oh man, I need to be used, right? It says to him, obviously. And you see, he says the future is coming on, because in a few minutes he's about to do some crack. Only on the weekends, though. No, but seriously, I like how every time the chorus goes, it kind of does this.
It's coming on, it's coming on, it's coming on, it's coming on.
That's pretty good. And I like the sort of deadpan delivery that Damon Al Pacino gives on it. Now, for the Dell part, we are going to have to go into the lore. So if you're a normie, then you can just, fuck you. You see, he says, "Finally, someone let me out of my cage. Now, time for me is nothing, 'cause I'm counting no age." Referring to the fact that he was, trapped inside of, the character Russell. And then he doesn't have any age because he's a ghost. It's actually pretty simple. And he also says, "Through him Russell, not his muscle, but percussion he provides." Which makes sense because he plays the percussion and he's possessing Russell. So you might not be able to understand that one if you don't have a big brain. I also like when the gorillaz pop out of the ground and they're pretty swell looking dudes. Ooh. Yeah, and he also has all these other lyrics, but those don't matter. Also, the song ends with a very long instrumental ending, which I think is pretty good. But if you don't like that ending, you can just watch the YouTube video. Oh wait, that isn't on Spotify. No, but seriously, this song probably gets a 10 out of 10. Bye, see you later, Davin the Hater.
Whatever I got, it got me going down. Psychedelics got me going rolling, got me stargazing. Sipping on pussy like the Barbie. Whatever I got, it got me going crazy. Psychedelics got me going crazy.